Okay, let's see. Um, I don't know. I guess let's look into like three betting pre-flop and going from there. Um, and should I be three betting versus? Well, I guess versus the pros, we should be just as close to your frequencies as you can get, right?
Yeah, there's just some wild mixed shit. So I was just more trying to uh, yeah, like this.
Or okay, late versus
Button versus hijack, just as an example. Should I be taking? Should I just be lumping stuff together and putting a frequency on them, and just strictly looking at my uh, RNG? Should I cut out some of this against certain players because it's Venom, because they just don't play as well? Yeah, just trying to come up with thoughts and reasons, and these zeros, are they really worth taking versus anyone? Not let alone satellite players versus super pros.
yeah, I guess we would start by looking at their response. If they're not finding four bets, then I mean we're supposed to be increasing our three bets, right?
Yeah,
Um, is this happening?
not from anyone but a super pro, and I don't think they would take these combos if at all, for the most part. Or maybe they choose these against unknowns, or do they just choose the ace X more
I don't know. I
uh,
think this is
to
just their.
block their 5x?
I think it's under bluffed, under four bet. Even the most well studied players because their baseline starts with people aren't three betting enough.
Agreed. Uh, maybe and this is a wild sizing I've been looking at. I mean, it makes sense, but 10 to 37.
Sure. Yeah, it's a large sizing.
What do you think are when I have aces? Like, what size do you think I should be going? Like a 3x?
When you're in position.
Well, I guess. I mean, here I can see this is fine. Uh, I'm still probably not going that big. I'm more like just like a straight 4x. But anyways, but yeah, like out of position, I guess, and then actually there's only really out of position. What am I talking about?
I mean,
Well, no, unless it's versus blinds. Sorry. I'm just curious. Like, if I have aces, should I just maybe making it like 25? Should I maybe get it 30?
when you're four betting.
Yes.
Um,
Okay. Should I try to be greedy like this
I mean,
because three bet ranges should be stronger against the unknown satiers, and maybe
it's
smaller versus super pros because they have more three bet folds?
yeah. I'm not sure, but what I would expect it to be a little bit tighter, more suited heavy. So I
Yeah.
think you have to go a little bit bigger than you want to go, because they can just call when they
Yeah.
three bet you
Yeah.
with their king ten suited or five four suited or whatever.
Right.
Um, yeah. Um,
Okay. So, what do you think about this response first, I guess? Are people folding ace queen O to this large size? I mean, I say large, but because I don't think everyone will intuitively understand that just being this deep, like this is more standard. So I think people naturally overfold some hands. This might be correct in terms of how, like it's just a sliver, but
Yeah, you're saying that people are gonna fold ace queen a little bit.
Yeah.
I can
But
see
well,
that.
what do you think? Okay. So then, how do we clean it? How do I clean this up?
How do you simplify this?
Yeah. Do I even want to take these? Not even worry about those? Do I want to worry about these? Do I want to convert these up? Do I want to take any of these?
Let's just start with that frequency, and let's just try to hit 127 combo. We'll do it on my side because you're
Okay.
okay. So let's just imagine you're just going to go with queens for value, and then ace queen off and ace queen suited or so. Maybe okay, so we're at 3%, 109 or 127 combo. So, uh, how do you feel about those pocket pairs? Do you want to be taking those?
Yeah, I'm probably even flatting jacks more than
Okay.
this is a. Oh no, sorry. Uh, yeah, I'm probably flatting almost all of these this deep. I mean, there is sometimes I'm three betting, but I would say this is probably spot on.
Okay. Well, let's just say that you're gonna have to choose an action suit ahead of time, unless you want to roll RNG. I don't think that's necessary. I think you can just choose a suit, you know. Um, and so, like, if you pick up clubs, you're gonna be betting all the suited connectors. Jack 10. You're gonna do that with the clubs. Might want to just do the gappers as well, because for you to just try to get close. And it keeps it simple too. From the Jack 10, it looks like the arrow begins this direction.
Say that again.
It looks like from the Jack 10, the arrow starts moving this direction. So Jack 10 from 1987. And then I guess we'll do Jack 8, Queen 8. This is probably, we're at 5%. We'd be underdoing it by a ton unless we want to put some offsuit hands in there. Do you want to do some offsuit hands?
I mean, if I'm not, then
You're not going to hit your frequencies.
yeah.
So I guess we'll take Broadways at like, I guess we'll call it some of the time with every single Broadway. I mean, we're looking at button hijack. This is simple enough. Okay, so we're at 70% maybe in combos. Yeah, we're still missing quite a bit. We're missing quite a bit, so like, I don't know what other hands you want to include. Do you want to go pocket pairs?
No, I think those are the ones that are just like against some of the field are going to be the one hands that we really want to just set mine and we can maybe get stacks in versus over pairs for 200.
Okay, well, it looks like we're close here. Okay, you have to take your broadways at like half the time, and then just go with all the connectors and all the one gappers, and then you have to draw the arrow from the Jack 10, something like this. This is how you meet your frequency. This is how you simplify. Just choose an action suit ahead of time, and then when it comes down to one of these, if any of your offsuit card contains a club, that's how you'll hit your frequency. I think.
All the suited side clubs and then this side, one club.
One club, right? Because if you're offsuit,
yeah.
Is that right?
Well, this would be 50%, right?
Right. So as long as you get a club in your hand, the chances of when you get an offsuit, the chance of you getting a club is 25%, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how I would try to simplify this spot here. Like, are you going to execute it? Is the next question. Like, you're gonna want to talk yourself out of like taking some of these lines, these spots, these combos, right?
naturally, but I'm going to fight that. I guess the next follow up is squeezing because there's going to be a lot of people doing exactly what you're saying. Right? They're going to always refer to the non aggressive action.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh,
So once again, like this is it's a very, very similar range, but these hands right here have just been shifted up towards more linear. Now you can use all your barbers. And you reduce your offsuit side. So now it's your best offsuit, King, Queen, Ace, Jack, Ace 10. You can stick with the 25% frequency and just move all of these into this section here.
what do you think about these being 3-bet folded?
Well, you're definitely going to be three or hold.
But like, is that?
I thought we were talking about squeezing. Now you're still in the three betting mode, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just in general because I was thinking about like just if I just shift these up to like these and almost do some of these pure, maybe the nines become calls and then these become 3-bets, or or just take the suit. I was just thinking of different
Yeah,
approaches.
that's the cool thing about this is you can just go full frequency with like every single nine and every single eight, and then all you're connected, and then you're going to move frequencies without hitting all your king sixes and ace fours and queen sevens.
I mean, is it just more like even more unique that we're only getting 4-bet in this tournament really by the top most of the time, even by a lot of pros, and just like if they kind of find the light 4-bet, I should just chalk it up to say nice find sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean,
uh,
obviously don't want to get run over much, but like in this tournament, I mean, I'll be able to spot most super pros, and then I could probably find out if they're Sadi players or not. But yeah,
yeah. I mean, yeah. I think you're gonna make good adjustments, and I think you're gonna do this fine. And I think you know how to adjust on the fly. I think you know how to shuffle your combos around. So like if you think that the table's too active, then you become more and more polar. Like if you don't want to get moved off of ace 10, start doing like ace 3 and ace 2 more pure, and king 4 more pure, and king 5 more pure, and 5-3 suited more pure, and 5-4 more pure, and ace 5 off more pure, and stop with the king queen off and ace queen off. Let's just flat.
yeah, I think like my only concern is taking some of these. I don't know what I just changed. Um, like Queen 8, for example, and people are overfolding their offsuit side and only defending their top of their suited side, like consistently, I should say. Um,
Okay.
now I don't think I'll get 200 bigs in even flush versus flush that often, but there's going to be people that are just going to pile it in my face. And yeah, I don't really care about set over sets. I really don't care about aces versus kings.
Yeah. So
Yeah, just thinking about these scenarios that I wasn't taking before in the Venom, right? And like to your point, are we going to execute? I have to. Okay, so it's just what hands perform well at 200 and against certain class of hands, and I guess I also have to know that I'm just going to correctly balance some checkbacks with some strong hands, and yeah, I mean, it's like World Series. I'm not going to get 200 bigs in without the nuts, pretty much. Thresholds are so fucking thin that, or so tight that it should be
yeah,
pretty straightforward.
yeah. So I think you need to pick an action suit ahead of time. That way you can keep your frequencies close, and then you'll just shuffle your combos around. Uh, if you think that you're facing tons of aggression, tons of forwarding, then become more and more forward. Like I think you're going to do just fine. All of these hands that are middling should shift down. We need to start doing ace twos and king twos and king threes and queen five more frequently, 10-7s more frequently, and stop with three betting of like these higher end middle ones that you don't want to get moved off of. I think that makes sense. I
Yeah.
think it's fine.
Yeah. Yep.
I think
Writing this down.
okay. What else did you want to look into? You want to look into some squeezing spots?
Probably should, yeah.
Okay. You're gonna obviously keep like your squeezing to a minimum when like early position opens. This has got to be really hard to hit. Um, 7%, 94 combos. Do what you're comfortable with. Uh, let's just see how they're supposed to respond. You're playing like a pure four betting strategy here.
More calling than I thought.
We are studying deep stacked tournament poker. These rules are going to apply to. I'm just typing in the chat box by the way. These rules will apply to Dutch games. If you have questions, you gotta let us know. Okay. What do you think about? Do you want to keep looking at some free-fall spots, or do you want to look at deep stacked? I mean, it's not. It's going to be 100 big blind reports. Is the next thing that I would imagine we should go into.
100 big blind with what? What was the last one?
Just looking at reports.
Oh, reports. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, can we solve any of these nine-handed stuff if we? Let me just pull something up. Let me
you share your screen too.
Oh, is my my screen's not.
All right.
Oh,
no.
so.
I was just listening to you count the comp.
Oh, okay. I got kicked off of. I had it on my screen, but I didn't realize that was.
All good.
It might kick you off. It might kick me off.
Okay. Well, you can, because of the stream. You can navigate. So.
Okay.
I'll just have mine up on the side to look up additional stuff.
Okay. Yeah, if it boots me off, I might ask if you could jump off.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks so we're not going to get any reports. But let's just look at.
Do you think we can use credits for reports? Not that I want to use it right now, but do you think this is like a spot that would have reports if we used our credits?
Oh yeah, I mean,
okay.
I don't know how it would work. But yeah, I mean, it would. It certainly work. Man, I think what we're gonna find is just a lot of spots are just gonna be like this is typically a sizing up board texture, but you're not seeing that when you're playing deep stacked.
No, but do you think practically we should at least go like B40 to B50? So that's I think what I would immediately go to. Like my range, like there on a dry board, like just turn shift it down smidge, but not completely, just like a range bet for like B30.
Yeah, I mean,
I just don't know how people are gonna react this deep, like to hands like that, check raising, hands that like would float easily at deep or shallower stacks, but I just don't know if they respond the same way at deeper stacks or not.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's rare to play 200 for so long, right? Like most of the time, that means you're only playing 200 for like 12 minutes, then it goes to 150, 12 minutes, then it goes to 100, 12 minutes, and then you're normal from there.
Yeah. I don't know, but it looks like all the spots that we explored. I mean, it's just using a really small sizing. I'm imagining you're gonna be doing a lot of range betting, heads up pots. Even on board textures that you can have this hypothetical large sizing on, I think that you just put in a small bet because value thresholds at 200 plus big blinds is like nut straights and big flushes. Like you can't stack off for 200 big blinds with a low flush.
Do you think the only I want to say counter strat, but kind of like other strat is going large for two streets and like checking rivers at a more higher frequency.
I think my default approach is like small, slight over bets and reevaluating rivers. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think a really good example is going to be ace high textures where you're going to go small and you over bet the turn. I think we'll demonstrate that now.
yeah.
Let's see.
I like that.
I don't want to do ace king boards, but like I think we want to see like kind of a disconnected board. I don't think we want to have another high card out there. So let's say something like this. Okay, so like maybe a good example. Let's just pull up ace 9-3. Okay, we're playing deep stacked. If you're just joining us, my friend Spencer is playing the Venom tomorrow. We're just kind of looking over some deep stack concepts. So this is the way I would play like ace king, ace queen, ace jack. Small bet, over bet all turns. And then because usually you don't. Okay, well, let's just figure this out. Let's figure out if this is actually going to be correct. So call, and then we'll just put like a blank 6 or something.
Oh, they minus a flush completing, but or a 9. Everything else is pretty much over betting.
I mean that's how I would play my stronger
Yeah,
at least like deep stack stuff. Like this is a 200. This is effectively going for 3 streets. Bet the
right.
flop,
Yeah, exactly. That's yeah.
over bet the turn, and you might be checking ace queen on the river, even if it's
Yep. That's kind of what I was alluding to. We're going to be checking hands that don't normally feel like, instead of going to standard like B33 pot or a red and then like a decent, value bet on the river for 3 streets. Like I just at 200, I don't think it plays that way because of the thresholds.
tell me how
Like
hard
they're
it's going to
just
be for somebody to bluff you or semi bluff you if you put in. It doesn't have to be 200. Let's imagine that you bet 125% or 150%. Like how hard is it for somebody to find some bluff against you or semi bluff combo draw?
it's gonna be impossible, pretty much.
It's pretty hard. You're basically telling someone, "Hey, I have a set. I might have ace nine. I have ace three. I have pocket nines, pocket threes. Maybe not aces, but like I got ace king. I got ace queen. Maybe the
Like people
weakest
are playing.
hand that I'm overbetting are going to be like pair plus flush
Right.
draw, king six of hearts. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah. No, that's exactly. I saw a hand yesterday from the Venom on Thursday where it was ACR Pro and it's basically this exact spot, and he chose the upsize on the flop, so he chose like B60 ish. Then he chose the overbet on the turn, and then the river the guy just dunked him, um, and like there's no way he's not doing it without like
right,
200 plus.
right, right. It's
It's just
so
there's
like
just no bluffs,
yeah,
zero bluffs.
I completely agree. Take the lead
Even for
away from you
first.
versus like a overbetting line. Like that's you're never ever going to make you're hemorrhaging money if that's a line that you take with bluffs. But okay, so if we overbet and we face a call, 6 of hearts river, they check. Uh, we're just going to be like checking these queens, ace jacks.
To have a heart to print. That makes sense. Like that's the thinnest we want to go probably is with a heart.
A 5, ace king is checking back primarily. It's pretty much going for 3 streets without going for 3 streets, and it makes it easier to play our hand. Not that we're not trying to make things easy. It's efficient. We're not like
Right.
trying to take like the easy road. This is the way the solver wants to play. Like when do we get
Oh,
to
okay.
value bet? Like ace queen, ace jack. See, you're not going for 3 streets with these hands. So you just go for a huge one on the turn
What about
before the board changes.
right? Can check like a 3 on the river. Now less likely as like bottom set or ace 3. Yeah, there we go. Still, like that's the one river basically that unlocks. So, and even then, it's not even full frequency. So, like, uh, yeah, to your point, do you think it'll be pretty efficient if I kind of? I know it's not great to always split this, but I'm thinking like again, someone aware. I'm gonna choose a lot more overbet sizing on the flop. I mean, on the turn. Flop is kind of whatever, but I do think I want to against more recreational players choose like a more B40, B50 on the flop, and then closer to like a pot on the turn, because I do think they just overfold, over bets too much, and I'm specifically referring to when I have value.
Yeah, probably. If you think that they're gonna fold to 150, then try 110 or 100 or 95.
Oh yeah, I think they're folding ace deuces, ace fours, ace fives
Yep.
without any redraws
Yeah.
all the time. B100, maybe they at least call one more, and then we easily just roll it over on the river. But securing that call a little bit more versus those kind of player types, I think, will be.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I think the reason why, like, even at 100 or 200 big blinds, the reason we don't use too many like big sizings is because even if you have a hand like Ace King of Spades and you start off with like a half pot or 2/3, you don't really want to face a check raise. You're not folding. You're going to call and you're ahead of some hands. Yeah, that's fine. But if somebody's telling you they want to inflate the pot from out of position against an uncapped range on a board that's favorable to you, you're already backpedaling and you're already bluff pitching.
Yeah, feel sick to your stomach and just having a quick call, do it 2 times and praying that
Praying that
it's a
they have
combo,
just like
combo draw.
ace queen, some 4-5 hearts, some deuce 5 hearts, some I don't know, maybe 3-5 hearts, just trying to fold out like our high cards. Let's imagine we face a check raise to 10 big blinds. We go 2 and they go 10. And we got like ace king of spades. You can click it on them, but primarily just calling. See, there really isn't any part of this range that wants to reopen the action. Like nines, aces, and threes primarily call. And the reason that we're primarily calling is because value thresholds are so narrow. Like you can only have so many strong hands here that you need these to defend your turn. Um, Paul, you want to see a certain turn or a river or
Like a offsuit 6.
offsuit 6? Okay, so the big blind has check raised this. We're playing deep stack. He follows through on the turn, betting 22 into a pot of 26. Ace king still calling.
Ace jack suited is indifferent. Ace king O is indifferent.
Yeah, starting to fold out some aces. Makes sense. And then break first.
Yeah.
I guess 4-5 gets there, but doesn't really matter.
Yeah, just see the frequency we have to call.
And then he jams.
Damn.
With our strongest top pair, you're bluff catching.
Or never winning. Yeah, you're almost never ever winning. Gotta hope that it's king 3 turning of hearts, basically.
Yeah. So this example is even more extreme than a Venom setting with 200 big blinds. Like you,
right? Exactly.
If someone wants to play for a massive pot at 100, we're already folding 200. You can't be stacking off with ace king. So that's the reason we can't reopen the action versus check raising because ace king's a bluff catcher by the river. So
is it checking back on the flop at all? The just top pairs?
I mean, yeah, we are checking back some top pairs.
Okay.
I don't know that we should check. I would rather just bet a third with everything,
I think I want to in some configurations, probably not hijack first big blind, but
yeah, let's look at their check rates. I mean, they're only supposed to find like 9% check raises.
that's another area that no, that's an area that's going to be underdone in the Venom high a lot. I think, even by myself, to be honest. But
primarily just flush draws, but like they're not. People are typically not finding like the king of hearts, backdoor straight draw. King of hearts 5, queen of hearts 8. They have to do it with some naked flush draws. Some of these have redraws, but
yeah. And the other thing, like, why this one is unique is because, and like, it's not like you're just chip accumulating for, like laddering or specifically for PKO, but like, in the mystery bounty, I think people just pass on check raises in lighter spots because they know they need to conserve chips potentially for the bounty portion. Even though that's might be counterintuitive to have dating to accumulate, right? But there's just like that's not the spot that they want to die on their sword.
Okay, so you think people are going to make this adjustment at the early level?
No, meaning like they're under check raising, they're under three betting, and it's just gonna stay pretty steady throughout the whole day one
Okay.
because they don't want to like die and lose chips stupidly in their eyes, quote unquote stupidly, with like a light whether like you said earlier, like okay, this is a strat, but can they execute it, right? So like even if they think we're light, I think they're just gonna be passing on a lot of check raise spots, a lot of spots that they should like, super attack. And yeah, I think I just need to kind of recognize some of those. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which gives us more license, like you said, to just kind of bet range and the thresholds and
Yeah. I mean, look. Let's just let's explore. Let's explore if we should. But I think that we'll be able to get away with it. Do you want me to node lock it really quickly?
sure, if you think it's worth it, like how much it'll dramatically change.
I don't necessarily think it's worth it because
Yeah.
this number's not that high, and we're just moving the checks over to a small sizing. And we're as long as the volume of betting is consistent, we're generally not putting four big blinds in there. So if we're shifting all of those hands down into a two big blind sizing, typically it allows us to simplify the spot. Like I said, we would basically just reduce their check raise from what is this 9%. We would just remove some of these high card combos, and then like these 7/8s, these middle pairs with nothing else going on, like the 9/8, we just reduce those. Maybe people don't check raise like 4 or 5 every time. Um, I think, yeah, I feel pretty confident saying that I think we can get away with that.
Yeah.
Let's let's keep exploring some flops. Mind. I think at 200 big blinds, I think you could do a lot of small betting. I don't know, like I said, I don't know how. I'm not convinced that we're playing like these large betting strategies. Unless like, let me just move them over here really quick, and then you know what? We can node lock these spots here. So, okay, this is our highest frequency large sizing. So an overbet on 952. Just disconnected myself. Okay, let's explore our largest frequency of overbets will be 952. I'm going to change the sizings to 200 big blinds deep and see that.
Interesting. You can late reg. Max late reg is almost 30 bigs.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just trying to get an idea, kind of like like where you'd. So after level 5, 6 ish. So what is that like? Almost 2 hours in, starting stack is 100 bigs. So it's not even like worth putting too much stock into 200 bigs. I just kind of just play straightforward and then get to this stage and then.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how to make sure that they both have 200 big blinds. So let's see. I'm not sure if I got it right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it still likes the large sizing. Let's double check to see if oops, 30%. Okay, so I was wrong here. I thought a lot of spots are going to play like keep it small because value thresholds are so narrow. You're not going to be able to stack off with your overpairs with 200 big blinds. But I think a similar concept on this flop where we're putting in this large sizing, getting our fixed street of value right now. And if the board changes, we start checking. Like if it's a bad turn card, which there's not like tons and tons of bad turn cards because our bluffs come from overcards on the 9, a bunch of backdoor draws. So we get a fixed street with our 9s, and then when the board changes a lot, if it does, we consider checking. But yeah, so I think the right way of approaching this spot here is just give these sizings over to the pot size like it recommended originally. I mean,
Yeah, I think that's mainly what I'm gonna do is just like not worry about the range and just play the hands that justify going to the large sizing correctly. Uh,
are
mixing
any of
in a
these going to be hard
couple.
for you to? Are any of these going to be hard for you to find? I'm going to highlight spades actually because I bet I bet these aren't that hard for you to find if they are of diamonds and they are of clubs and they are of hearts.
Yeah, they can just go in a range bet pretty much. I don't know if I would size up. But that's what I was just gonna kind of allude to is as long as I'm putting the appropriate hands in the size up, the bluff portion, uh, like Jack tens, I would assume, like Jack ten of spades, maybe I would, uh, and and then for value, the nines and the pocket tens, pocket jacks, and like you said, there's just gonna be so much checking on a lot of turns.
Yeah. So let's see how hard this strategy is to pull off. So if you have two overcards to the nine, you can put in that pot size bet with these high cards.
Yeah, all
You're
the
just
spades. Okay, so that's yeah.
you're just trying to fold out similar hands, but the backdoor hard draw, backdoor
Hmm.
back draw. Fold out the king queen hearts, fold out the queen jack clubs, things like that. And then um, queen eight spades, jack eight spades, 10 8 spades. These fall in there, and then these are low frequency. I'm not exactly sure how you can.
I mean, I think I'm gonna naturally probably put those into delayed C bets, right, and then mix in some one and dones. That's just kind of my general thought.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, but this isn't a range bet spot though. We do have to check a
right, right,
good
right.
chunk. Okay. Maybe let's explore some turns.
Yep,
We bet, and then we'll just do
like a queen or a jack.
okay. Hardest check raises for this player. Remember, we're facing pot, so you don't use low equity hands in the big blind shoes. Okay, you don't use weak hands. The weakest hand that you would use here, these hands are drawing to the nuts, drawing to the
Better
nuts.
backdoor. Yeah.
All of these hands are drawing to the nuts. These are the weakest hands that the big blind will continue with as a call or a check raise. Um, when you're playing,
Still equity driven.
yeah, yeah, when you're playing deep stack, you typically grab the suits on board first. You check call 3 4 of spades more frequently than you check call 3 4 of hearts, for example. Um, it's not the case when it comes to 6 3 and 6 4. Uh, this is a slightly weaker draw. It's a gut shot. This is an open straight draw. You don't really want to get moved off of this one. This one has higher equity. Okay, so we face the call. And then random turn.
The queen or jack if you can first.
What do you? Of a suit?
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Big one checks.
Oh,
Wasn't expecting to see this.
me either.
So this is a range bet spot for the 2/3 spot. You can ignore. You can ignore this. Usually, start considering adding the check around. If it's around 25%, you can't ignore it. You should likely drop your sizing a touch in order to compensate for the hands that shouldn't add money to the pot. That's kind of how frequencies and sizings work. Because these hands should be checking 33 combos, when you throw all of these into a betting range because you're ignoring this checking strategy, sizing should probably drop from 67% to maybe 60% to compensate for these weak hands that we're adding to a range bet strategy on the turn. That's how it should work in theory, but I'm just kind of letting you simplify this one. What do you want to? Anything you want to explore?
Just different cards. If like maybe this is just like a unique spot that like some of these are just too good for range and nut advantage, and other cards are more kind of what we're alluding to. with a higher check frequency, like any low card. Maybe just the high cards just favor us too much.
Yeah, it's looking like it. Most of our bluffs connect, right? When we bluff on the 9 to a pot size bet, all of our bluffs, including like king queens, queen jacks, jack tens, king tens, ace
Yeah.
tens.
But then we just need like all their shit that they would check raise with or could check raise with. We just need them to clear all that out. So, but a low card, yeah, I was gonna say is probably they even have a fuck ton of leads.
Yeah.
That makes sense too.
Okay, so when big blind leads, they're just trying to get us to fold our high cards. Let's see, this is check. Now we don't get to range there.
Yeah, this is kind of probably what we were thinking about more. It's definitely what I was expecting to see more. So maybe so these rainbow disconnected, just you can check like a 10 turn and a jack turn just to see like where that kind of cutoff is to where it favors.
Another range bet turn card. So anything higher than 9
So
appears to be range bet.
yeah.
Besides, I mean, ace is not factored. I'm guessing this gives them a lot of
Ace
two pair
threes, ace
combos.
fours. That too, yeah. And they still have ace 3 and ace 4 in there probably quite a bit.
Yeah, it's like ace 5, ace 2, ace 9 in the falling range. It's like a way ahead, way behind turn card.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. The other. Other leading card.
What
Yeah.
about on like a 9 or a 5? What do you think? I'm just curious if you think like we.
A 5 is a huge disadvantage for us generally because we don't pop that a 5, right? Or,
flop.
like we don't pop that with a 5 in our hand, do we?
Oh, right. I mean, unless we're just playing a range strat, but no, I would imagine not.
So either I mean, look, our overpairs kind of like the 5, but that's it. So tens, jacks, queens, kings, aces, 30 combos. Not a ton. So 5 is slightly leads the whole range. That's how favorable it is for them. Big blind's equity has climbed a shit ton, I'm imagining, on the 5.
Just kind of thinking on like those cards in general, should we be more high frequency when they miss the lead? I don't know if we go like bet and then check rivers or
if
check turn and then get value on river when they check or just call down.
So I think that's really interesting that you brought that. When they miss
the lead, yeah.
So villain. Do I know how to spell villain? I guess I don't. So when villain misses the chance to add pot, we don't want to, like, they made a mistake, right? They had the chance to add money to the pot, so the way we punish them is by not adding money to the pot. So if they have a leading strategy, you can always guarantee that the turn, like for example, like the turn in this spot will always include a lot of checking. Include a lot of checking. So
does that not feel dangerous though?
Tell me more.
If a person doesn't even know that they're supposed to lead the spot, that doesn't hold true.
No, most people aren't going to know because you have to study a solver to understand when you can add money to the pot. So most people don't study a solver. Most people don't know the theory works. So if they had the opportunity to add money to the pot, even if you think that they're capped, you're still not supposed to help their mistake. Like you can't just bet some hands in position. Like this frequency needs to rise more than 50%. This should probably go up to, I think it probably goes up to 70. because let's just no block this spot here. I think this
Well,
is a go ahead.
I guess my follow up is someone who's gonna find a check raise on this board is the same kind of player who should have leads in their game. Would you agree with that? If you're capable of finding a check raise on 9-5 deuce rainbow,
As a bluff.
yes, ignore value, correct, or semi bluff or pure bluff, doesn't matter. Right, so if you can find and execute 6-8, 7-8, 6-4, 6-3, all the shit we looked at, ace deuce, ace four, I mean ace three, ace four, right? If you can execute any of that, do you agree that you should also know that second pair is also a high frequency lead in general? I know that's kind of like, you know, we're really just kind of guessing on the semantics of some random Joe Blow, but like I would imagine if someone can find that kind of check raise, they would also know that they should be leading at least a decent amount of times on second pairs in these kind of spots.
The only people that are experienced players,
Correct.
because you can play a lot of live, never study a solver, see what professionals do, and kind of emulate it. Oh, they always lead on. They always
Right,
lead when
correct.
middle pair and bottom pair pair.
Correct, and that's fair. Like it doesn't necessarily need to be a studied player, but someone that will at least execute that and recognize the spot. I think that same applies with the check raise, right? Like maybe whether they studied or not, they know that those are the kind of hands that maybe do it. So whether they do it or not is secondary. But if they do execute a check raise, they probably are also executing a lead. Is kind of what I'm getting at.
But we aren't looking at the check raising line though, right?
No, I'm just getting at the player profile because we're talking about someone who's missing something that is supposed to happen.
Okay.
So if they're not choosing check raise on this drive of board, then they're probably not also choosing lead on second pair is kind of what I'm getting at. And then vice versa, someone who is finding check raises on these boards for bluffs is also probably finding the leads with the second pairs and bottom pairs, at least some frequency.
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
So I agree with that. So then that's kind of where my only pushback is that since they're not taking a check raise line on the flop and not taking a leading strat, this might be the exploit where we do put money in because now they're weighted more towards the 6-7s, the 6-8s, the gutters, and now still have more auto fold intact on the turn. Which is how I think people default to who are wrecks, who don't hit the check raise frequencies and that kind of thing. I think that just kind of.
I mean, look, I would look if they just check call a pot sized bet and they don't lead this turn. I mean, I'm gonna try to execute this strategy. I thought that the strategy would change a lot of add a lot of checking. This is what I node block. I just forced them to check their whole range. This is what I'm executing. I don't.
No, you're right. I did forget. I kind of was forgetting that this is a pot size bet. I'm used to like a red being, B83 or whatever. So,
yeah, I mean, look.
I guess that does it strengthens their range essentially. So maybe what I'm saying is not as true, probably.
Yeah, their range is strengthened, but like even if they stick around with some weak hands, they're allowed to nudge this pot with a lot of their range. They chose not to because either they don't know or what's the other alternative?
They're trapping. They're trapping.
Yeah, but like we cannot help. Um, we cannot help them because they made a mistake. The pot was supposed to grow. It was supposed to grow 75% of the time. They were supposed to put a quarter out there. And now we cannot make that pot grow for them. Regardless of whether they have a set here, a boat here, gut shots, we have to just increase the check. The hands that you do want to bet, go polar. It's fine to choose like your ace three diamonds full frequency. Like if you get moved off of this, how much equity did you really have against the check raising range on the turn after you called pot size back?
Close to nothing.
Exactly.
Always.
Exactly. Like sometimes even when you hit your four, you're dead. He just has a boat on you. He's got quad twos on you. He's got pocket fives, pocket nines. ace two, whatever he may have. We just have to be very, very selective and very, very polar. Like we can bet Jack ten of spades.
Yeah, that makes
Um,
more sense.
yeah, I mean, look, I mean, this strategy is very polar.
Yeah.
It's only betting low frequency. I mean, it's only betting low equity hands and then high equity hands. Another flop texture.
Sure.
What do you think? I'll let you choose a certain category. Do you want to see something that's connected or
Yeah, like
sizes?
like a two tone, like a queen eight or a jack nine
Okay.
X.
There, two tone, Jack nine X, somewhere around there.
Yeah, or like queen eight or something along those lines. Yeah.
Okay. Something like Queen X, something like these type of boards.
Yeah, maybe not the 10 as the second.
Okay.
Yeah, just so it's not considered two broadways. Yeah,
Like
like this.
this.
Yeah.
Okay. Overall, you're not checking these boards. I mean, I would probably simplify these. All these boards here get at least a small bet. So these, I would basically think that I'm range betting any of these type of boards for a small sizing, and then I would incorporate a large sizing. That's how I would approach these. So, like, I think we should explore the worst board that fits this criteria, Queen Jack X. I think we should explore if you can get away with range betting these spots. That way, you keep your life pretty simple.
Yeah. And then do we just like pure check some hands that are no suits on board? Like, or do we have give ups as that? Or are we just pure range?
I'm gonna see if we can get away with range betting.
Okay.
Let's see.
And then those become pure give ups on the turn or what?
Yeah, we have to compensate hard on the turn because we're betting
exactly.
on the flop.
Right.
Okay, so the numbers to remember: I'm sorry, the numbers right here: 4.05 million, which includes checking. I'm just writing this down: 37%. 4.05 EV, which includes 37% checks. Okay, so what we're trying to accomplish here is we are basically going to give all the checks down to this small sizing and then include maybe a pot strategy. Some hands will shift here, and then yeah, let's see if we can get away with it. Yeah, solve. Let's go. 200 big blinds. Give the solution. Actually, does the solution change when I add it when I change the stacked up?
Probably, yeah, I would imagine so.
I would think, yeah. Okay, whatever. It's close enough. 4.05, 4.1. So close enough. Okay, can we get away with no checking on this board texture? We will remove check. We will include a pot strategy, and we'll include like maybe 25% strategy. As long as we don't lose more than, yeah, so this is fine. So 4.06. This looks pretty good to me. Or you can do like instead of pot, like it hardly uses pot. You might want to do. Look, the board is going to change a ton on the turn.
Yeah, I think that's the key, right? Yeah, just gotta recognize, and we're just nudging with the ones that are like, yeah,
Something like this,
very,
maybe.
very dynamic.
We actually gained
Yeah,
EV.
yeah, I like this. Yeah, I like this. Oh shit.
We were at 4.05 and now we're at 4.07. 200ths of a big blind doesn't really change things unless you're playing millions and millions of different things. But
Can we just check our check back frequencies versus both sizings on the flop?
check back frequency.
Yeah, so we choose B25, they call. What's our check back frequency? And then versus the larger sizing.
Okay, so we're check raising a ton here. From we put in 1.5 big blinds, they put in 13. Massive, massive, massive check raise. Clearly, they're not using any low frequency or low equity. I keep saying that low equity hands. They're using these type of hands.
Yeah, and I mean, we're gonna overperform with the range bet. This is just, I don't ignore the sizing, but just the frequency itself. No, we're not getting check raised 21% of the time.
I had a filter on 15.
Okay.
Yeah, 15.
Not even. I don't care. We're not even 50. Not even
Yeah.
close to that either. Like people aren't just taking dry flush draws at 200 deep.
Right. Yeah, like ace four of diamonds has to call every single time. Maybe, sure, fine, whatever. They have to check raise king nine. somewhat frequently. Every single time that they have the ace of hearts in their hand, they got to check raise it.
Right, 9-6, 9-5. Like that's not
Did happen.
Yeah.
51% check. We're gonna have a huge checking percentage, I think, on most turn cards.
Right. Just gonna want to see though, like much more dramatic it is when we choose the B25 just because it keeps their range wider versus when we immediately upsize and just but you know like I think it's like to your point like right it's gonna hold true regardless of our initial flop sizing that our turn check frequency is going to be much higher but I just I think want to get a rough idea that if it's there's a big change in a lot of them or not.
Yeah. I damn, we don't have a tournament for it. Okay. So look, we simplified the strategy on the flop. We don't play any checks on these type of textures that you described.
Right.
Uh,
Click
and you,
B30 and B83. That's what I'm.
yeah, and then let's look at some
Some
hard
visions,
hands,
yeah.
some mermaid hands, king high, ace high. These are the hardest hands to find. Okay, so queen 8-7, ace 2 of clubs, king 4 clubs.
Those are the ones we always see. So it's like I feel like I gotta find some doubles somewhere from those probably.
Yeah, so like all these hands, like ace 2, ace 3, let's say clubs, you're always gonna fire these on like a deuce or a 4, as long as it's not like a diamond or a heart.
Right.
I would imagine. Let's go B84, call, and now we have like a Badugi like 3. Even though we still have nothing, I think we have to fire these.
Yeah, we want to fold ace 10 of diamonds. We want to fold king jack of diamonds.
What
We
if
want to
this
fold
3 is a
eight.
diamond? Okay, these are where your doubles come from. Even unintuitive ace 4 spades, ace 4 clubs, the board's getting worse, but there's still plenty of folds. The target's basically like the 8. The 8, the 7,
10s, 9-10s, 5-6s.
9-10s, king jack, offsuit with 1 heart, ace of hearts, 10 of clubs, ace of hearts, 9 of diamonds. Okay. Anything else?
Just okay, so check some other turns now that we chose the larger sizing on the flop. So I think we were in the 50-ish% check range on a lot of turns on the smaller sizing, if I remember, even some into the 60s. So if you can just check some other, like, check a offsuit 3 real quick. Okay, not so much, but guess. Okay, how about like a king? Doesn't change
So
the check, but it does obviously change the sizing, but the check frequency is staying not fluctuating dramatically.
When equities get hard, maybe like flush completers are carrying the board. Open-ended straight
Open-ended,
draws complete. It puts a cap on sizing as well. So
Yep.
these are pretty important heuristics to understand. So just because we have a flush in this spot, if we happen to have a flush, it still, in theory, puts a cap on our sizing because we still want to be able to bet our sets sometimes. We want to bet our 9-10 of spades as a straight. We want to bet our sets. We want to bet our 2 pair. And we also want a better value hands, but it puts a cap on the sizing. So here you notice that we're using like 40%.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to see?
No.
Okay. The new board.
Sure.
Um, we kind of ran these filters. The reason we chose Queen 8-7 was it's because it was our highest frequency check, and we realized that we can basically range bet. So we played small and we played like B80. So because we can get away with this board, we can get away with every board that you described down there. Right?
Right. Just more disconnected. And you just ram up the frequencies.
Yeah. Okay. So let's clear the filters. Um, what's the next texture that you want to see?
Paired board.
Okay. Paired boards. Cool strategy though. Like, I mean, it's pretty obvious that we only use tiny and check,
Yeah.
so that's pretty helpful. I mean, I would basically ignore simplify your life. Uh,
Just making sure at this deep that it's well, I guess it's 100 versus 200, but that, the whole. She's basically just shifting B25 up to B30, B33. I wonder if monotone is maybe kind of similar.
okay, we'll check monotone shortly. All the big pairs. So far, every pair has been above like tens. Um, we're getting deuces out there. It's kind of a meaningless card. They don't really defend too many twos playing deep stack poker, so you can kind of treat it like irrelevant pair. But I think once the pair is like, it looks like 9 and below is when we'll start, I'm imagining, in theory, incorporating checks. Nines, threes, and I think we should ask ourselves, this is the worst board to range bet. Should we explore if you can get away with just betting? Or
I
do you
mean,
want
I
to see
think
monotone next?
um, probably monotone. I think this is pretty clear spot that people just overfold and under defend. Um,
All right, here's monotone. 32% checking overall.
okay. See the B6. See, this is what I was like. I thought there was gonna be more B50s, not 66, but I did think there was gonna be more than just B25, which is pretty standard. This is at 100 too, so
Score 66.
yeah. But what do you think about the 33 as well? Like generally, I think in other spots, right? It's just like B25, B20, and most mono spots, but
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to get all the money if you don't start off with two big ones.
does that like shifting up? Does that influence any part of the range any different? Like second pair? Does like B20 to B33 or B40, does that just create some folds on a monotone? Like does like 9-8 offsuit with no heart just fold ace 9-3 all hearts?
It's a good question.
And do they like just call a little bit more facing B20 and then just always fold first? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Regardless of solver, I'm just asking out loud. Like, what do you think? Does it really affect most people?
Probably not. 25 versus 33.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
that's my guess.
Specifically on a mono?
Yeah,
Indeed.
I don't think like second and third pair are treated any differently. They're either the type of player that folds their second pair no kicker or third pair no kicker, or they're scared of mono if they would rather reject or they're going to call. Like, I don't know that people would read into the core versus 33 too hard.
Okay. What about quarter versus 50?
I think that's a lot different, right?
Just checking if we're kind of on the same thresholds, typically.
Is there any rule that you're spotting here for these larger sizings? I probably autopilot monotone boards, and I don't think about sizing up.
I 100% do that.
Um,
It's B25 or check are like my only two options most of the time.
yeah,
Actually, probably all.
yeah. So yeah, I don't really consider like a large sizing, honestly.
Yeah, I'd say maybe something like this, like an ace 9-3. Maybe if you have like an offsuit ace X, you can choose a little bit of bigger sizes. Just get that value from the 9 there. and some weaker ace X's. I don't know. Because maybe
Okay.
you're just trying to go for 2 streets and check back rivers. That's like my only thought, but okay.
Yeah,
No, I just wanted to see.
Okay. Okay, so this board takes we can get rid of the check and add it to 33, maybe make it 30, 25, whatever it's better. As far as the 66 goes, we're just trying to create some indifference. Do you think we're getting any folds from 7? Like is 7 8 clubs holding? Because if they fold this hand, they're folding everything. Like I think they have to stick around with all their 7s, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, sure, and that's kind of what I was asking the other thing. I do think monos people are fold their no backup equity hands versus certain sizes sometimes. Just not wanting to face multiple bets because they know they just can't hold on.
Okay.
Is 7 8 one of them? No, maybe because it also has an overcard. But
Not
I mean,
fold.
the turn is where we punish them regardless.
Yeah, just
That's
cannot
where the
fold.
overfold happens.
If there's a world where someone folds their top pair to a large sizing, then cool.
There is.
They're already folding second pairs, 6s through 4s. They're sticking around with all their 3s. Hopefully, this makes sense to people. But these are drawing to 5 outs. These are drawing to 2 outs. So even though pocket 6s is better than ace 3 when it comes to equity, this has 54% equity. These have 47. We fold our 54% equity hand, but we call it 47% equity because you can't think of hands aren't just ranked strongest to weakest. It's actually better to think of these hands in terms of expectation. Actually, this doesn't work that way. These don't make as much. That's strange. I was expecting to see these hands making more than these. Okay, well, either way, we're folding a higher equity hand, which is very unintuitive. You're supposed to stick around. I mean, that's obvious, though. I mean, see in terms of percentage of the funds. 7, 10%, 10.6, okay. I mean, I think we're getting some folds from more 3s and more 2s.
Of course.
I mean, are people just gonna fold their 6s instantly or not?
I mean, for B66 and higher, I can't say no. I mean, yeah, I can't say no.
Gotta be folding. I think I'm folding pure.
Especially deeper. It's not like because it's like right. It's easier to fold deeper than it is shallower.
Right.
Yeah, it's just not the monos paired boards. I just know people like just know that's not the one that they want to attack. Usually because right, like continuing ranges are inherently polar. There's no middle ground. Like you're either drawing to the nuts or already have the nuts effectively, right? Even like on an ace 5-5, right? Like you see betting get called. It's not like we're often getting floated by king highs.
Okay.
And at the same time, people aren't finding the check raise. So it's like same on monos, right? They're just not holding on with 3s and deuces. It's really weighted to top pairs and already made flushes and then single hearts.
Yeah, I agree. I think these are going to be overfolded. So when we decide to size up and they choose to call, remember they're only playing a calling strategy. You can ignore this check raising thing. I mean, 2% is something to probably just ignore and keep your range as strong as possible by keeping all your flushes in this range because you're going to have hands in the hijacks range that are drawing dead. So, for example, he's literally betting every single weak hand in his range on these spots here. So when he has a hand like Queen 9 diamonds, it's drawing dead. When he has Queen Jack offsuit, drawing dead. right? King jack offsuit, no heart, drawing dead. You get the point. So um, it's probably recommended if you face the size up to just call the whole range, like the solver recommends. Then on the turn is when things are probably going to get more interesting. I didn't even know we were going to get a report. I thought we could get them at 100. Okay. These are, from the big blind's perspective, anytime the board comes or the turn card comes 7 and below, you get to add money to the pot, a small bet. 7 is the highest frequency card, you'll add money to the pot. Overall, you're checking a bunch, though. Okay? No matter the turn card, you're checking a ton. When you do decide to donk lead into the see better, it's a small sizing. You're just trying to trigger an auto fold. So whether it's a 6 of spades or a 9 of hearts or a 5 of diamonds or a 3 of clubs, you add a little bit of money on the turn. You take the betting lead away from the hijack. Your only goal when you're bluffing is to fold out auto folds. Fold out his queen 9 of diamonds. Fold out his ace 10 of spades. Right? Anything you want to add to that? Do you want to explore certain turn card?
I'm kind of surprised to see like leading from them on the big hearts.
Okay, let's explore that. Let's start with like Jack of Hearts. Okay, 25% leading, small sizing. Remember what you're trying to accomplish here. So, the big blind's supposed to be leading with a bunch of weak hands. Remember, it's a really, really small sizing. It's a tiny investment. The pot's 14 big blinds. We're only putting 2.8. You can do this with hands as weak as 5-4 of clubs, 5-4 of diamonds. If we decide to lead for this tiny sizing of 2.8 big blinds into 14, what are we trying to accomplish? Holding out ace 10 of spades, holding out king queen of diamonds, holding out ace queen offsuit with no heart, holding out king 10, right? Because they're betting their whole range, so you're just trying to get them to fold those hands. Holding out ace 8 of clubs.
8 is folding.
Pocket eights is starting to fold. Let's imagine that we face a check. Yeah, they're betting, they're turning all of their third pairs into a lead. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Third and fourth pairs are all like adding money to the pot half the time. Interesting, interesting. Okay. Let's imagine that they check. Do some checks out. We play polar. Quite polar. We use our strongest equity hands and some trash.
I don't think it's necessary to go beach 125 versus most people, but
What do you think's the strongest hand that we get to fold?
we get to fold. In theory or practice?
Practice.
10 of hearts.
They check call in terms of jack. Some people might start folding the 10 of hearts and I don't take that into account.
Or is that what we're for? Either way, yes, I would say that's a good.
Yeah, we're overbetting. We're overbetting. So,
oh yeah, I would say people are folding 10, 9, 8 of hearts.
We
at some frequency. Well, not ever the queen though.
Yeah, we start off with a size up 66%. It turns a jack, they check, and then we overbet to 125%.
They would overfold the queen on the river.
Okay, are they folding any hearts here? They are folding some hearts. 8 of hearts, 9 of hearts, 10 of hearts.
There you go.
Yep. Well, that's
That's yeah, and that's like kind of what I was talking about earlier, right? We're like again super pros and having some mixed bluffs in there, but like but just like I would kick myself if I'm overbetting and getting the 10 of hearts to fold versus just going B83 and just getting value all day long.
Yeah, just go 83 when you're value betting 125 with the bluff, right?
Yeah. Well, even then, I think these spots are so narrow and polar and kind of straightforward that like even with my bluffs, I don't think we need to go 125. Like we can skew it to 90 to 100, and it effectively gets the same parts that we're attacking to do the same thing. That could just be slightly nitpicking, but uh, as long as I'm not, yeah, as long as I'm not saying that just as like a scared to not go B125 if B125 is more effective. But I think on mono is and like paired boards, those are kind of like some of the exceptions and where it's more applied to just downscale a little bit, like just risk slightly less on our bluffs. And I think it's just same amount of success rate regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, the reason that we don't study tons of monotone is because they don't come up often. And you have to decide on how you're going to dedicate your time when you're studying. And if something comes
Right.
up, less than 0.5% of the flops, probably not worth your time. Of course, you occasionally have to cover it, but it's a reason why people probably misplay these. They don't find the size up on the 4 card flush. Um, Overall, I mean, I know I can get better at these board textures, but that's like the main reason people don't study these very often. It just doesn't happen often enough. As long as you're playing relatively decent, have an idea what you're trying to target and accomplish, you'll be fine. Um, but I think that's all I got. Spencer.
Yeah. Past my nap time anyway.
Yeah, I'm kind of shot. So, all right, man. Well, thanks for jumping on.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Wait, no, not poker related, but what do you got going on today?
Um,